good evening, friends. Welcome to Ramblings of a Middle-Aged Card Collector podcast. Tonight, episode 2, we will be discussing the evolution of character collecting up till today and the impact the current market may have on it. Joining me tonight is my friend and guest, Fausto, Comic Card Hive on Instagram and YouTube, Norrin Radd on the Facebook groups. Welcome, my friend.
Hey, man. I'm so glad to be here, dude. I've been enjoying the episodes so much, so I'm so thrilled. This is fun.
Oh, well, great. Thank you greatly for coming on and being a guest and hanging out with everybody in the chat and myself tonight.
Of course.
So, everyone, if they don't know, everyone probably knows by now, though, Fausto is a Silver Surfer collector and with an amazing collection. He's been critiquing his collection for a bunch of years now. And not only that, he's also a staple in the community with a wealth of knowledge. So with that, I thought you'd be a perfect guest to come on and talk about character collecting.
Oh, I'm excited, man. I love this topic. It's very close to my heart. It's my main focus.
Awesome. So I'm just going to throw into the chat, say hi to a bunch of people.
Yeah, I love you, buddy.
Going on, Nathan. How are you? Awesome hobby hangout stream last night he had with Jesus. Make sure to go check those out.
Love them.
Slow motion cards. Perna. Appreciate you all coming and hanging out or coming and catching the replay. We're trying to hit 300 followers on the YouTube channel before episode 3. There'll be a special giveaway with the giveaway wheel. So make sure to come and hang out and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out either. Hermit, how's it going, my friends? Awesome. Thanks for coming. It's all good, man. Enjoy. All right, Fausto. So we'll go right into it, brother.
Okay.
What first drew you into collecting cards and comics? What was specific series or childhood moment?
Oh, man. So I was like around 7 or 6 for sure. And it was kind of finding out about Silver Surfer for the first time. And really the card that it was the 92 Marvel Universe with the power ratings on the back. I still love this. Those are just the best.
Those are great.
Those are the greatest. And it was Ron Lim art on there. And just as a kid, that card spoke volumes to me. And I learned about Silver Surfer from that card. And from there, buying the comic books was the next step. And then after that, we had a mall. I'm from Miami, Florida, and we had a mall over there. And basically, back in the day in the malls, they would have these center kiosks. They still have them now, but back then they seemed to have better stuff at them.
I'm familiar with the kiosks. Yeah.
And what I mean by better stuff, I mean Marvel cards and Pogs and all that kind of good stuff. And that's good times. It was right in front of the movie theater because I'm a huge film person. And yeah, it was just like the perfect moment of like getting to watch a movie as a kid and then seeing Silver Surfer cards in the case and buying a pack and, begging my mom to buy me a card. And it was just the best. And I learned about Surfer through that. And I became a collector of things from cards. I didn't collect anything else. I was very young. I mean, had Ninja Turtle action figures, Ghostbusters, all that kind of good stuff.
Oh, yeah, man.
It was Marvel cards that made me like collector. And then it became comic books, and then I collected everything for Surfer. And it wasn't until I got into graduate school where I was like, you know what? I want to do like a hobby and relax. I don't know where that went. That was a decision I wanted to do, and then that never happened. And basically, I decided to do Marvel cards, and that's when I started doing it seriously, which was like 2011. I already had a collection of, like a lot of people have collections of Marvel cards, and Silver Surfer I had like tons of them, and I had my binder just like I do now. But I was like, you know what, let me be serious. So I sold a lot of the comic books, statues, pins, all the other stuff, because I kind of was like Donald, the Doctor Strange collector, Donald Comstock, who's just really awesome.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I'm going to do the card thing, let me get serious. And so that's when I started building the collection that I have now.
Awesome. That's so cool. So nostalgic too, man.
Yeah, man.
It
It
brings
really
back memories for me. You know, throwing in the Ghostbusters
is.
toys.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Some cool hits right there, brother.
Yeah, man.
With that said, what was the very first card or comic you ever collected with Silver Surfer on it? And do you still own it?
Yes, I do have my very first card. So I still have my 1992 Marvel Universe Silver Surfer card. I still have the 92 Marvel Masterpiece and the 93 and the 94 Masterpiece, Julie and Hildebrandt. Yeah, those were my core 4 cards that I would carry around in my wallet with me.
Oh, that's cool.
It was cool. There was actually a beautiful card, and it was Julie Bell art, and they're
Mhm.
called Marvel Wallet cards. I don't know if you've seen these. I think we
I
talked
don't
about
know
these.
if I have.
I have to show you, but they're cards, and there was a concept of holding a card in your wallet, and it gave you a little bio of the character, and it would be like a wallet card. Of course, I love that concept because I want to be carrying a card with me all the time.
Right?
I'm not going to put it in a gold chain around my neck, but I'll carry one in my wallet. And yeah, man, that was one I held a lot with me too. But yeah, it was that one, 92 Marvel Universe.
That's such an awesome set too.
It's a great set.
Yeah, yeah. I like that answer. That was very cool. How has your personal collection evolved over the years?
You know, when I've always been looking at Marvel cards, even when I was young, and it was around 1999 where I discovered that sketch cards had come out. So I was looking at, God, so funny, a website forum called Scoundrel. So Tony would know what that is, and a few other people, but it was called Scoundrel Forums. And back in the day with sketch cards, what would happen is you would have people who would break a lot of product. They weren't breakers; they were just people in like card shops, and then people who knew that little world through forums, they would say, okay, at 12 midnight, we're going to give you faxes or email you pictures of all the sketch cards we have by numbered. So what happened with all these collectors is that they would select, oh, I want number 5, I want number 6, I want a 7, and they would just buy them. And that's how people amass these vintage sketch card collections. Well, I mean, it's 1999. I got nothing. I was born in 85. I got barely nothing to my name. I have to beg to use my dad's eBay to buy anything. But I would save pictures off my computer of all these are wonderful sketch cards that were being drawn by artists that drew comic books. And it was magical to have that and to be on the outskirts of those. And now to know them, like I know a lot of them and they're really lovely people. And most of them are very elusive. You know that we talked about that stuff, you know, they're basically ghost. But it was cool. It was kind of cool to be on the fringe of that. You know, I was too young to be in it, but I was, you know, that was kind of the first time that helped dictate to me what a character collection was, because most of these people did not only buy collections for artists specifically, but characters. So like they were just people like you and me who like, you love Man-Thing, and it was just like, okay, this character is that right? Just this character has to be the character for me. And they would do that with the vintage sketch cards. And that's when I first realized, I was like, oh man, me collecting Surfer cards back in the day was not like strange. And so then I just started, I was like, you know what? I was like, oh, well, if I'm going to do the Surfer, I think I'll just character collect all of it, not just sketches. And that's when it really started to make sense for me when I made that decision. And people have been character collecting longer than me, for sure. I think I was one of the first dummies to put online that I was collecting him.
Putting it out there.
Yeah, putting it out there. And being outside of the Marvel card closet, as they say, for a character collector, which is really scary.
The
but
secret PC.
Super, yeah, it's really, really freaky to do that. And it was great. You know, it was really great. I made a lot of friends that way, and it's been a lot of fun to have that as a part of my online identity. But yeah, it was vintage sketch card collectors that kind of taught me to be a character collector.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm actually kind of the opposite.
Yes, I know, which is hilarious because
Yeah.
I've never seen you at OAX, and I saw you doing the sketches, and I was like, oh, this is hilarious. He's like really opening that door now and see what this is. Yeah.
Commissions, building relationships with artists. It's OA. Because I was just character collecting, and then I got into sketches and then the art, and I was like, all right, I'm going to kind of put that to the side and focus on sketches and art. So I totally relate with what you're saying. And those are awesome throwbacks. And you must have learned so much from the OGs.
I was very lucky. Like most of them didn't pay attention to me because I didn't have anything to trade. But I made like real friends like Fuller, like Kevin Letty, people you met, who were, Jose Caballero, just really, really amazing people who've just been in the hobby so long and understood the landscape so well. Ian Taylor was another one, it was really awesome to be friends with people like that, because that wealth of knowledge and years of experience of collecting, I was kind of always the youngin because they've been doing it at a different price point longer than me. So it's funny the emotions I'm going through now as a collector, because I saw what they were going through with looking at prices, which I know we're going to talk about later, but it's funny how this stuff all comes like full circle.
It is, right? And it always falls back on the community and the relations we build, and it's always positive. There are some gatekeeping, but it's very well taken. Everything that I've learned from the community up to here is only positive reinforcement, built great relations. I'm going to double on that question and go, yes, you've built great relations. Have you built any rivalries with your PC character collecting?
Yeah. It's really sucky. It really sucks because when you know this just as good as I do, but just as well, and so does most of the people in the chat.
Yeah.
I know Tony was on Scoundrel, but it sucks because at one point I never wanted to be in competition with anyone. It's just not my personality. Hey, Brittany. It's not. I'm so sorry. That's ridiculously hot.
It's hot.
So sorry. But yeah, I just, when you start building these collections and you start making decisions, what ends up happening is that you're pulling cards from other people, especially when you get to the out of 10. Like there's maybe really technically only like 6 or 5 serious Silver Surfer collectors out there in card world. In other world, like the numbers above 40 or 50.
Oh, I'm sure with comics.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But like with cards, probably less than 7. I'd be surprised if there was more than 7 serious people. And when I mean serious, I mean people dropping $1,000 on a card. You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty doubtful. I don't know everybody, obviously. There's ghosts out there that I don't know. But I'm very careful with what I do. In fact, there were 3 reasons why I stopped my collection after 2014. I'm still picking up stuff, but not master collecting. But the big reason was because like I met Frank, Uribo's another friend of mine. Like there's a lot of good people out there that collect Surfer. And I was like, I can't always be like in competition with people and pulling cards that other people want. Like I need my collection to be a reflection of me, and it needs to have an end date so I can see it as complete, because I don't want to be a collector that just amasses. Like that's never been my personality. I just not. And it would be cool just to buy stuff and put stuff together. And I've seen people do it far better than I ever could, but I need it to be manageable for me to be excited about it. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense.
Yeah. So that's why so yes, there's tons of rivalries. I've been very nice to people. It's hard when people ask a lot of questions though, when it starts getting specific, because you're still hunting for stuff. And you're like, yeah, this is really rare. Okay, so how many? And do you know anybody who owns them? And I'm like, yes. I'm kind of busy, so I can't do that. And some people don't understand that, and people feel like you're being closed off to them. So it's a weird line. It sucks. I'm me very well, but like I've been friendly to a lot of people and give out information very quickly and very open heart kind of guy. But it sucks, man. When you're hunting something, dude, it's hard to tell someone like, yeah, I do, but bro, I don't really want you to contact them. I'm busy, you know what I mean? But
yeah, I know.
There's a line. There's a line, unfortunately. I wish there wasn't, but there is.
I get it. That's very honorable. It's like an honor code, which I like that a lot. We had a friend, William, in the group.
Oh yeah.
a great guy, awesome friend. He had comiccuts. I can't remember exactly what set of Man Thing. He reached out saying he had them. I was like, I can't get them right now, but if you can hold them. And then he hit me up the other day and he's like, hey, do you mind if I could actually, I could sell these now. And I was like, go for it. If you can make money right now, totally go for it. You have no idea how grateful I am and positive of a person you are for asking me in the first place, following up. It's just, it's good vibes. Yeah. Good vibes.
I think those are just good hobby practices. I think when you're in it as an actual collector, and that sounds super judgmental, and I don't mean it that way. What I mean by that is like you're actually trying to build something that's going to do something you're trying to build something. You're on a mission, right? You're not just acquiring, you're building. I think when you're in that frame of mind and you get into a community, it's almost cruel of you not to be open with people and not to because you know what these cards mean to you. So you can only imagine what they mean to other people who also love the character. You know what I mean? Like when I sell anything Surfer, like when I started selling my 2014 and newer stuff, I hit up all the Surfer people first and then branched out to the big players who buy and build, massive kind of collections and stuff like that. But I always reach out to Surfer collectors first because I'm like, or like character collectors for anything I have. Because that's just, I think it's good practice because the cards mean a lot to people. And once they're gone, it takes years to acquire them again. It's not easy. It's hard. It's tough.
I totally agree. They stay in someone's collection. It could be a ghost collector.
Yeah.
You may not see that card recirculate for a long time.
Yeah. It disappears. It's gone. I'm hoping that there's something that's coming soon that I'm working on that will kind of help be this little archival something that's happening. So I'm hoping that starts coming to fruition, which it should soon. And hopefully for like a hobby of people who are building these collections and need to know like, okay, this card went here and it's currently residing here. That person can be like, yo, it's not for sale. That's the end of it. That's great. Mm-hmm. I think that's awesome. You should always be honest about that. But it's always really strong community to let people know where things are because things happen. Right? It has to switch hands. It doesn't have to switch hands. People get older. Sometimes they're not forever. It just depends.
I mean, it also stops, God forbid an estate sale happens due to an unforeseen, tragedy.
Yeah.
That can be gone forever if it reaches an estate sale. Somebody purchased a lot.
And that happens, right?
Just throws it away.
Like somebody
kids play with thinking it's nothing.
And the worst part about that is that it ends up in someone's hands who is just like, they don't really know what it is. They know it's valuable or they think it's valuable because people make a big deal because they go to a Facebook group and they post it. And then they're like, oh, well, this is obviously like a $3,000 card. And you're just sitting there kind of, I'm old man rambling right now because I got to keep it on theme.
That's it, brother. Ramble on.
Just ramble on. And that stuff drives me wild because it's great to have people come into the community and start making collections. It's another thing to start exploiting community members because you get a lot of attention for something you have. Again, everyone does it their own way, blah, 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 blah. Insert that disclaimer here. But the truth is like some people are working on really amazing things that they've been putting together for 10 or 15 years, and they're willing to pay the top price. But then you want double the top price. And it's like, well, there's a limit.
There is. There's a roof. There's definitely a ceiling.
There's a roof.
I mean, personally, I don't think of one of ones to be in my collection unless I pull it.
I mean, and that's the thing too. And 2014 as a Surfer collector is the year before one of one hits for Silver Surfer in terms of serialized one of ones, not I'm not going to say real because that would be terribly mean, but printing plates, sketch cards, and comiccuts are unique, while serial number cards have that art repeat multiple times, which is just as rare, just as one of one. I'm too poor to have one. That's totally fine. But that's why I stopped at 2014 because I never want to be in that position where someone's like, hey, I have this one of one, $10,000. And I have to be like, do I have $10,000 on my credit card now? And do I suffer like this for the next like 5 years or whatever it takes to pay this stupid thing off? I never want to be in that mindset because I know myself. I'll make the reasons, you know what I mean? And then Emily has to put me on the street and I have to do my thing. So like, you know what I mean?
So we'll take a question real quick from the chat. JC asks, what was most expensive sketch you remember back in Scoundrel forum days?
Expensive back then was like $500. Maybe like 300, 350. Adam Kubert, Spider-Man. That's a crazy one. Anything from Fully Ultra Spider-Man 97, Bill Sienkiewicz sketch cards. They weren't like expensive like we think expensive now, but they were pricey for what they were. And people knew what they were. Like, you have to remember, card collectors back then weren't just like ripping for the thrill of ripping or looking at numbers and understanding rarity. These cats like knew the artists. Yeah, they knew the artist. They knew how significant the character was that the artist drew this character, who's Fausto. You know what I mean? Like this was serious. This was not, these people were not stupid at all. These guys collected this stuff and they knew exactly what they had and what they were building.
Yeah, and to be honest, a lot of the people that I met from back in that day were splash page comic art collectors as well. They were Wall Street people, finance people. They were like, they had the money.
Yeah, the real
That's
deal.
what I met. When I met some of those, where I walked into one of my uncle's friends or something, they had money to spend. And that's kind of where I was like, oh, I'm going to critique my collection one day to have see-through glass shelves and cards on a certain display with neon, with lights shining on it. You know, like I had that vision from walking into a room where I was just like aghast by what I was looking at. So it's very cool to understand where things are or may come from. So, and the knowledge that you learn from those people, because they're pretty smart people when it comes to like Excel sheets and understanding, the pricing of cards or its rarity, or, you know, so, you know, it's a double-edged sword as well, because like you said, it's a card that might be X amount of dollars. So it's going to be X amount of dollars when you go to sell it.
And I think too, and to bring up such a great point, right? The idea of high end and the idea of like cats who understand how things will appreciate and how things should be kept. And that's a different game. Like I talked to a guy who I guess I can mention this, but he is like a Silver Shepherd collector in the original comic book art world, which you're more familiar with. And I'm just, you know, I've learned about through various ways, but it's gotten more real for me since OAX and meeting a lot of other people. But he traded like a Lamborghini for a page for Jack Kirby. Like it was that kind of like level of like real.
That's a whole nother tier.
It doesn't even like I can't even see it without having to close my eyes a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's another level.
You got to dim the light a little bit. It's too much. You're like, oh my goodness. One day, maybe.
maybe
and never say never. You know,
never say never. Yeah.
I just want to remind everybody to enter pound ramble on. Pound ramble on. There will be a giveaway tonight. Oh, Kasra, how's it going, brother?
Love you. Oh, I love that, man. That's awesome. Oh.
All right. So how has character collecting changed compared to, say, the 90s and the early 2000s?
Oh, it's changed completely. So character collecting in the 90s is not tough. What gets hard in the 90s are cards that people really don't know exist, because they're not really told on a checklist or even on a box. The infamous ones that I've talked about in the past is the 97 QFX cards. 35 of each. They're from the 90s. They're even textured differently. Like those cards are stupid impossible to find. The 90s promos, stupid impossible to find.
Great video.
I mean, that was really fun. But like, there's some, actually, I'm going to give away a Mephisto tonight if you want to do that. A 90. Yeah. Okay. So let's give one away because I haven't
two giveaways.
2 giveies. But yeah, so those, like the 90s cards, you can make a 90s collection, but it gets really stupid when it ends up becoming the rare science stuff. 96 Onslaught Auto is really tough. When it becomes that, it's a whole different game. And then when you get to foreign, it gets even dumber.
Yeah.
So vintage, foreign, that kind of stuff gets really stupid. But when you're collecting the 90 or the 2000s, those cards really didn't matter. You just had like a fun binder. It wasn't as serious for rarity. And I think as age happens, people start to realize, oh, they have to be in great condition. And that's where grading kind of comes into the character collection, where it's like, okay, yes, I have this old card, but is it at the top of its line? And a pop report is creating that rarity serial number, right? It's a pop 5. That means only 5 in that grade. That's a serial number, basically, is what you're building there. So that's how that changes when it becomes more modern than the 90s and 2000s. Now, the 90s and 2000s, the really big thing to collect back then, if you were around and smart, were the sketch cards. That would be the thing to pop on and to really pick up a lot of. I didn't get that opportunity. I had to do that in reverse, which is a miserable experience. But character collecting now is a completely different landscape.
Yeah, and like you said before mentioned, I really like the idea of some kind of database where it shows how many of a serialized number of the cards are actually out, because then you kind of get an idea of, all right, is it a ghost collector or is it was never pulled? And then you may want to then look into opening packs or buying a box of old product, especially in today's market when you're getting into breaks or paying exorbitant amount of prices for new product.
So. And like, you really have to touch these cards. In my opinion, like advice would be like, if there's cards you're going to hunt and you want to hunt them in terms of in boxes through breaks or buy boxes, buy the cards for 99 cents on ComC first. Have them in hand and touch them. If they're super high gloss, no matter how long you stick that sucker in a freezer or under a hair dryer or whatever hack you're going to do, they're damaged. Because once you hear that, that means paint particles have popped into the other card. And even if you can't see them with the naked eye, you're not getting above an 8. And if you did, the grading company was lazy and didn't look at the card seriously.
Understood. Yeah.
That's it. Once that sticking happens, there's no like miracle that makes them unstick. That's not true.
Yeah, I've actually tried a few of those internet, possibilities, steaming, buying a cigar aerator or whatever they're called, where it keeps a certain temperature with a humidifier. None of that unstuck or unbricked cards.
Even if it unbricks it, which I'm not going to dispute with anybody, well, it worked for me. Like, okay, whatever.
There's still going to be surface.
There's still surface issues after that pop happens. Like, you're not going to get 10s out of that box. And if you do, I suspect like 99% sure that there's damage on that card that wasn't seen.
It's almost, I don't want to speak because maybe somebody's actually gotten a 10. And then again, that brings up what we were speaking. And our friend Manu brings up all the time that we want strict but real grading, consistent, hard, but it's honest. Because I've tried it. And even with the best unbricking that worked, the surface is so glossy, it's missing. And it's exactly missing where it pops off, where you get it from the card. Even if there was no restriction or friction at that moment, because you did that process, there was at one point. So you may not see the paint, like you were saying, any kind of damage, but the gloss is what's going to rock you.
It's done. And that's why it's so important. People always talk, well, they overproduced cards in the 90s. I was like, you're at this level. You're not thinking about it here, right? Because seal product will eventually vanish. Period. No matter how much they print. It's been so popular now for what? 10 years card collecting. Everyone, dude, I have people showing me Marvel cards now who I've never even, like old friends who they don't even really know what I do. And they're like, so I dug this out after talking to you. And I was like, bro, we didn't even talk about Marvel cards. Where are you getting this content? And it's very much alive. You're going to tell me in 10 years from now, there's going to be a lot of sealed products still sitting around or cards still in good condition? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah, and be weary when you're buying that, hoping to get a good grade, because especially look at all the pictures they're posting on whatever you can, because you're hoping that at some time over the period of the decades, basically, it wasn't on a bottom stack of boxes or compressed in any shape, way, or form. You're hoping that this box was on a shelf, nothing on top of it on top of something else, and then you're getting good grades. So be weary if you see any kind of compression dents on the side of a box and you're just hyped to get it. Cool. But if you're trying to grade it, look for a box that looks pretty good.
100% agreed.
So with that, we'll go. Do you have any? And I think you touched base on this, but let's see if you can dive a little bit deeper.
Sure.
Do you have any focus on certain franchises, errors, or do you just cast a wide net for your collection?
Oh, good one. So a master collection gets tricky. A lot of foreign cards don't have checklists, and a lot of them can be debated, and a lot of them are bootlegs. So I don't think there's a master list that I would trust from the foreign side if someone gave it to me. I think there are some big highlighted cards, like the Pepsi cards from Flair or Fleer.
Oh yeah, throwback.
Right. So those are pretty well known foreign cards. The chocolate ones, the taboo. I'm saying it wrong. Starts with a T. Raj knows the best. So there's some well documented ones, but to have like a complete list of knowing what's out there is not good. So master, I did as many as I possibly could find, and I have errors, pack crimps. I love pack crimps. I love misalignments. I love foils missing from the cards, full art. I have this 93 Silver Surfer. There's no impression and no foil, baby, and it's all art, and it's stop it. I can't even think about it. It's so beautiful. Awesome. So that kind of stuff really gets me, but a master US collection is possible up to a certain year. And that's why I did 2014, like I said earlier. So my focus outside of the master are printing plates, sketch cards that are specifically done by artists who've worked on comic books, or ones that are legendary sketch card artists like Perna, Martinek, Katie Cook, some really beautiful people out there, Elaine Perna, right? Those guys, to me, are sketch card artists, right? That's a whole tier of people that I value and respect as legendary content makers for cards in general. They're historical, and time will show how important those artists were. So those guys plus comic book artists, which is why I like vintage sketch cards. And the other obsession that I keep talking about, that everyone's probably exhausted of me opening my big mouth about, but is comic cuts, which I'm just obsessed with. I'm
a fan.
I'm a fan.
All right, our friend Blake says it would be good if Topps made an announcement that every quarter they would release a non-limited quality set that will be mass produced, like an old 90s set, for a few collectors that can be affordable.
I love it, Blake. Like I always appreciate your comments on these channels, and I always love hearing from you. And I completely agree. I think if you don't bring back that vibe, young kids are not going to fall in love with these cards like we did. And they have to be quality too. I mean, when we were kids, we were getting to enjoy a set called 92 Marvel Masterpieces by Joe Jusko.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to get that for pennies.
I know, right?
That's like high quality love. Like, that's just like such a beautiful thing to give to the masses at a fair price. I feel like that mentality has to exist in this small way, even if it doesn't get the breakers on board to buy because it's mass produced or whatever. That's an audience builder and a guarantee that the hobby stays alive longer than just the old man rambling on the pod. You know what I mean? Like, it's just true. I agree, Blake, completely.
Great. All right, so we'll go in. How did you decide what's worth adding to your collection? Is it being a completionist, rarity, personal connection, or any kind of investment value?
it's funny when I started doing social media and started getting the Facebook groups and, you know, and running MCCW and being an admin of that and all this other stuff. I did videos similar to you, which is hilarious because you've been in the hobby just as long as I have, but it's funny how you and I keep overlapping. But I did videos with APs. I was getting cards from artists. You can look at my Instagram at the oldest videos, and I'm showing off Lydia Lee Jubilee that I got an AP of for Flea Ultra X-Men 2018.
That's that, man.
I mean, that was a beautiful card. I sold that card to a friend who needed it, but it was a gorgeous card. But I was showing off APs at Tony's, like tons of APs. What ends up happening to the collection, however, for me personally, is like it needed to have that element of a completionist element for me, and it needed to stand on its own. So APs became like a fun thing I did as instead of like part of a master collection, because the master collection in APs is difficult. You know, I was really looking for pack inserted sketches.
Yeah.
And the truth is, like, for me, and I think every collector has to go through this, you have to sit down and be like, okay, what is my budget for real? Like, really, like, for real. We talked about, like, there's tiers of people, right? It's not a bad thing or depressing to be like, you know what? I'm tier 2, baby. There's tier 10 and I'm tier 2. And you can be the happiest person in tier 2. And I will say this, and I believe this 100%. Even if you're tier 1, the collection you build in tier 1, I believe, can rival a collection of a tier 10.
Okay.
110%. I think the person who builds a collection, if it's interesting enough and unique and has personality, I would appreciate a level 1 collection just as much as I appreciate a collection at level 10 where everyone has, it's just 41 of ones, no big deal. It's like, that's awesome. Yeah. The level 1 is like, yeah, but I did every character in this specific costume across all the years. And I'm like, you're my hero. Yeah. Let's do that.
That's a very into it person. Yeah. I can get into that.
I love that.
Totally get into that.
I think it's great. I think it's great when I talk to certain people and they have that level of passion of this stuff and details. I'm just like, I'm foaming at the mouth because that's what I want. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. Totally cool. I like that. All right. So, do you have a holy grail item that you are currently searching for?
Yeah. It's pretty much the last thing.
Okay.
It's depressing, but I had a shot at one. I passed on it because I liked the way it looked, and that's okay. I know it's funny. I've been looking for this thing from the beginning, and it's a Joe Sinat sketchograph from 1990. 1998 is the one. I mean, I like the one from Silver Age more than 2008 Fantastic Four. Anyway, so Silver Surfer. So that's what I want. I had one offered to me for $2,000.
Okay.
And it wasn't the price that bothered me. It was that I wasn't in love with the image. And now it's funny because I've been searching for that like over 20 years, like literally. And I knew when I said no, I knew what I was doing, because basically what I did right at that moment is I added 5 to 10 more years of the hunt, because it's that tough for people to give up. Like, a lot of people don't want to give that up, and it's not like it doesn't exist. It's on the verge of not existing. But I was like, you know what? I'm here, man. I'm not going to go anywhere. You know what I mean? I love this stuff too much. I do it too often. I look at my cards every day. I just had to sit back and be like, are you really going to not look at cards after you buy this card? And I'm like, no. So then what's another 5 years or whatever it is?
I like that.
So there you go. So that's the one.
And it's coming back to where, it will resurface.
It always does. I've been in here long enough. I waited 8 or 6 years for the 2013 PMG Green server, which was the last thing I needed for the master. That was on the US official release. I waited 6 or 8 years. It came up. It was a nice experience. Everyone reached out to me. They're like, hey, we found it, man. Let you know the price. Here it is. And I was like, it was a lovely experience. So getting that was nice.
Yeah.
It happens around. It happens.
Yeah. My current is which is so funny because I was looking for it for so long. I almost thought it didn't exist for a while. I was like, I have never seen one. Maybe I should just continue to buy Flair 2019, see if I hit one. And it was the Man Thing EM Gist Auto.
Oh, dude, that's a gorgeous, stupid.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous card. And at first I almost passed it up thinking it didn't exist. And then I seen it in the Facebook group. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, I hope you make a sale for selling the whole collection. But if you ever break that up, please reach out to me because that's a card I've been looking for a while.
What's that out of? 30?
Yeah.
Dan, that was pretty good. That was from memory. I didn't think that would. I was like, it's probably.
I think all the autos were out of 30.
Yeah, that's it. That's right.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm surprised that card's such a miserable find, man. I remember seeing that card a few times.
Hard to find.
Hard to find.
It was my grail I didn't even know about. Now I know about it. Yeah. So like you said, I'm kind of, because I need that card. I love it. You know what I mean? Flair's one of my favorite sets. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, this is on my list and I'll get it. And that comes back to what you just mentioned. There's different tiers. And knowing where you're at right now doesn't mean one day you can't be somewhere else.
1000%.
And if anything, you know exactly where it is.
Or that's all you need.
Yep.
That's all, dude. I can't tell you. I feel bad, but I bother people every 3 months. I have a little list. I feel I'm a terrible person, but I have a little list, and every 3 months I hit those people up with those same stupid cards. Hey, like, where's this at, baby? And they're always just like, dude, I admire your persistence. And I was like, I hope it's not bothering you. Tell me when it bothers you, and I'll move you to like a 6 month, 9 month rotation. But I mean, that's what it means to be. You know what I mean? Like I started at the most bottom level. I don't know what my collection level's at now with the Surfer collection. Like I'm very proud of it. But, you know, when I hunt for Surfer, I am on that Excel spreadsheet. I am like details about every little card. I know every artist that's worked on other the Surfer cards. I know all these details that I have documents for. It sounds crazy, but the truth is like, you know what it is. I saw you running around. I know exactly what you are about too. It's real. It's a very real thing. Yeah.
It is. It's the hunt.
It's the hunt, baby.
Yeah.
It's the hunt. Love it.
And that's kind of followed me, whatever collecting. I mean, back in the day, you know, with cards. And then when my kids were younger, we did like Funko. Oh. You know, and whether it was the soda cans or the pops. And it was the hunt.
It's the hunt.
You start getting on that hunt and you're like, all right, this is fun. And then you hit it, you find it, or Comic-Cons, you know, looking at the layouts. That's kind of what
it's the SDCC season, the green emeralds. You got to go to the mall.
Exclusives. Yep.
I did it with Emily and I ran to that. Dude, it's fun. It's good stuff, man.
So Blake, Matt, what are your top 5 commissions? Are you asking about sketches or art?
Good one. Yeah, I love commissions. I wish I could.
What are your top 5 commissions you have?
Oh God, dude. I mean, my favorite commission ever. I have a great piece from Tony. I got a great piece from Tony I sold, and then I got a second great piece from Tony, which makes me really happy to have. I feel very honored to have that. And then Bianchi is my favorite. My favorite. That Surfer card. That's like the Surfer card of my dreams. Like he did it. I gave him, because I love the preliminary art set that's for 2018. That set I just love that set so much. And I wanted a sketch card that I told him I think I told you, because you were there. You were there when I got it. But yeah, I was like, please just do the prelim that you would have done if you had Surfer for 2018. And that was the card. And I was like, dude. And I'm like, dude, you saw me. I was like, hey guys, how's it going? Holding it.
Like giddy-eyed and glowing. Yeah. I mean, that's the grail in itself.
I was totally transported with that. You know what I mean? That was such
the location, the experience, being in person, you know.
I can't top it. I doubt that would be top.
2026, brother. All right, so my top 5 are Eric Grove Man-Thing, Herman Peralta, Miles Wool, Jim Jimenez, and Joshua Cassara.
Joshua Cassara. You know why I'm writing this down, everybody? Because this man did it right. Okay? He embarrassed everybody at OAX. The commissions were on point. Everything was so beautifully done and orchestrated. This guy was like, remember the commercial back in the day with the Toys R Us kid and they had to run through the store in the meantime? Dude, it was magic the way he did it.
What was the TV show where you had to shop till you drop or something like that? You had to
grab
whatever you can fit in the cart.
Yeah, It was magic. It was crazy. I'm excited to see what you do this year. I'm like going to be following you.
Dude, I have a notebook. Let's just say it's a little more. It's more intricate than
I'm sure
how I originally did it, because now I'm like I'm writing everything down, and I kind of have. I'm already looking at artists that are on the I'm there, but there's no pre yet. Oh, I think one artist did release. So if you go on the OAX website, there is one artist that you can get a pre-commission from. So make sure you go to check that out. Like we were talking, make sure you keep following up with Comic Art Fans Live. They're going to be posting. And if I've been following Bill correctly with all of the videos that he's been doing, make sure you check in there live on August 23rd. I believe at the end or some part in that stream, there will be the first information drop for OAX.
Dude, I'm so stupid excited.
Me too.
They're so good. They're so good.
Derek's coming. So
I know that's gonna be fun to see him. He's lovely, dude. He's just the best, man.
Thank you.
I love his work.
He'll be 18.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God, your boy. Holy shoot.
Crazy.
That is crazy. Wow.
We'll be adults there.
Wow.
All right. So continuing on, what is the most meaningful piece in your collection, and if any, what's the story behind it?
Woof. Jeez. I'm very lucky. I have a lot of meaningful pieces in my collection, so it's hard to pick one for sure. I got something from a friend that I wanted a long time ago. That really means a lot to me, and you're into sketches, so I know you'll love this. It's a pack pulled Joe Esco.
Oh, dude.
2012.
That's great. Oh, the back. That's such an awesome. It's so awesome, Galactus.
This poor. So this is the Deadpool collector. He had collected most of them. Joe didn't do many. This is pack pull. Joe didn't do many at all. He had a good bunch, like a good bunch, like a scary door. And I would hit him up, and we became really good friends. I really love Ryan to death, and we became good friends for a long time. And he finally was like, "All right, you ready?" And I was like, "Yeah." I wasn't ready, but I found a way to be ready. And not only was it a fair price, and I paid him a little more because he's just the best, but yeah, I've been wanting this for a long time, and this was kind of from a friend who we just become really tight, and he put it in my hands, and he was like, "It belongs there," and it's absolutely a prized possession. But yeah,
I like it. I love it. That's a beautiful piece. I mean, he just nailed it. I mean, it's Juiceco, but he just nailed Surfer and Galactus. Both sides. Like some
I'll blow your mind. I'll blow your mind a little bit. So you see how it says 12 there? Because this is Marvel Premiere 12.
Yeah.
Most of the pieces that Joe started drawing for Masterpieces 2016 were in 2012, 2013. So that's why he got these sketches, because they had been planning that set with him. So they started having him do sketches for sets, because the set just took a while to make, because Joe's a beast. Mm-hmm. But, you know, he puts so much attention to each one that it takes a little bit of time. And yeah, so around the same time as he's painting that beautiful piece for 2016, he does this sketch card. So cool.
Amazing.
Cool.
That's a great piece. And I like the story behind it, where it's involved with the community. It's someone that you became friends with, relations, it just created that connection to where you could then make the trade. And it only,
dude, 60% of my collection, 70% of my collection is because of like friendships. Like this stuff is so impossible to find that you don't get this stuff just off the rack. You can get lucky, but to be specific things you want, people already have them because they know they have good taste.
Oh, look at Costra. Awesome. So he's saying we'll be doing pre-OAX commission announcements just about every week for the next 3 months, along with all kinds of extra events.
Hell yeah. It's awesome.
Very excited. Very excited. All right, awesome. So guys, just remember, pound Ramble on. We've got 9 entries. We've got 18 people in the live chat. All right. Have you ever traded or sold something and then later regretted it?
I'm very lucky in that I tend to not trade or sell until I go through a little regimen I have. Okay. So what I do is I create 3 piles, and this seems really dorky, so my apologies, but I create 3 piles. One is like, no, never. I'm going to have the Viking funeral with it. They're going to put me in a boat with the item in there, and they're going to launch an arrow, and that's how it goes. No one's touching this, which is not true, whatever. But then the second one is like, I don't really want to do it, but man, if I got the right price, maybe I would. And the other one is like, you know what? This doesn't fit those other 2 piles. It goes here.
Okay.
I always tend to do this. Whenever I finally am like, you know what? Especially a piece that I love, if I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sell this. That's enough. Like a Mandalorian autograph. My buddy really needed it. Okay. He's an actual Mando collector. And I have 10 pieces, or I have like 5 pieces now, but he's like Mando for me, surfer. Like and I mad respect him. And yeah, he wanted something that was like, I've gotten like stupid offers on, and it was a massive card. And I went ahead, and it was a silver frame Masterworks first year Pedro Pascual auto out of 5. Like it's a crazy beast of a card. What I did was I put it in a box in my closet out of sight for a week. I didn't look at it.
Okay.
And over the week, I was like, I didn't even think to put it out. And I knew right then and there, I was like, well, then it's not a forever piece. And that's why I've been very lucky not having that experience and be like, damn, why did I do that? You know what I mean? I've been very lucky. Same thing happened when I started selling the modern surfers. Like 2016, I sold the 2016 What If Auto Silver Surfer out of 10, which is a stupid hard card to find, and I'll never find again, and I'll never buy again because it would be like $5,000. And I was kind of like, I put it away, and I was like, when's the last time I looked at this card? Like, you know what I mean? And does it fit the collection as a whole now? And I was like, no, I don't want to ever, because I didn't have the Silver Spectrum Auto either out of 10, and I was never going to pay $5,000 for that card, and I think that's a ridiculous number to pay for that card for me. And I was like, well, if I'm never going to do that, there he is. There's my boy, my beautiful boy. That's my buddy right there, showing your gracious kindness, Ryan. Awesome guy. But yeah, so that was the thing. That's what happened. I was like, you know what? I'm never going to complete this rainbow at this level. I really love my 2014 collection. It's time to put it out there, pay some bills, and use it to buy more comic cuts. But okay. yeah, so that's how I do it. So I tend not to have like massive regrets like that.
And I guess I'll follow that with, are you critiquing your collection now towards more cuts, comic cuts?
Constantly. I'm always looking at my collection. I'm always thinking about how it forms, how it's forming its structure, what it's doing, how it sits on its own, how is it different from other Silver Surfer card collectors. Like a big thing that I did, and I'm being more revealing than usual because I love your channel and I want to say something interesting. But in all seriousness, I kind of made it my mission to make sure that my collection can't be duplicated. And that sounds highly egotistical. I don't mean it to be by any means.
I get what you mean, though.
Yeah, I mean this on a high level, not as like a jerk level. I mean, so much of my personality is in my collection that my collection exists in the vacuum of me. Like, you have to know me to understand what you're looking at when you see my collection.
Yeah, and our friend Lost mentioned it in the chat earlier, and I totally agree. There's nothing about loving a personalized collection. It's so critiqued that like, oh yeah, I can see that. It's definitely his collection.
I can see the inner workings of that person's work, that person's collection. It was like when you showed me your haul from OAX. I was like, oh, dude, I know who he is. I know who Matt is. I know what his likes and dislikes. I know what he gravitates to, and that for me that's reading between the lines for a collection. I love that.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna go on with and so I don't know if you've ever mentioned this, so I kind of wanted to ask you this.
Sure.
Has your favorite character changed over time, stayed consistent, and do you have a secondary character that you may be collecting?
Surfer's been pretty consistent as a character. He's gone through a few deaths. The most beautiful one was Silver Surfer Vacuum, which was just a lovely series. One of the prettiest. Silver Surfer Black was really fun. That was a cool change, the symbiote kind of change for Surfer, which was really amazing, where he became Void, the Void Knight. He's had a lot of changes. I mean, he just went through the biggest one now, where Shalabal is Surfer, and it's going to be, it's crazy, but she's going to be Silver Surfer to a lot of people.
To the youngins.
Yeah, to the youngins. She's Silver Surfer. Norrin Radd's not Surfer for them. It's her. And she caught on. She became very popular, and the actress did a beautiful job. And there was a lot of the core of why I love Surfer so much in that character. And I'm very happy with that character taking every change possible. I think that's how it's not gender, it's not how someone looks, it's not race, it's not any of that stuff that makes a character. It's the core of them. And that's what's great about Marvel, DC characters that we love, is that they become these reflections of people throughout time. And those reflections can carry any mask or any suit or any form whatsoever. And that's why they're so beloved by people, is because people can attach to something real, not something superficial.
That was beautifully said. That was a great answer. Do you think certain characters resonate more with collectors because of cultural trends, or is it just like personal taste?
I think sometimes what happens with people is that they fall in love with someone of a character. It's weird. I sometimes see these two levels, right? Like, I've seen someone tell me they love Wolverine, but not know that Wolverine's real name is James. You know what I mean? Right? And I've seen people who tell me they love Wolverine, and they say to me, Wolverine's small. He's disgusted. Like, people don't like him, but he's a badass and he perseveres, right? And I don't want to embarrass the person who told me that, because I love their love for Wolverine. But, like, that is such a difference to me. And I don't think one's better or worse than the other at all. There's no judgment there. But it's something that, I did on my channel when I had character collectors on there. I like seeing, like you told me about Man-Thing. You know what I mean? Like, I love how personal. The more personal for me, the connection with the character, the more I fall in love with the collection. And hearing the story about it, you know what I mean? That's just me. So, like, I think people like characters for different reasons. I tend to feel very close to people who like characters in interesting ways and have interesting stories with them. And I think that's just really cool. I just think that's really cool.
Yeah, it is. It's like a little personal touch.
Yeah.
Lost asking a question. Has there ever been a version of your character that you weren't crazy about?
It's funny. I didn't like, what's his name? Terry. He was an artist for Surfer in the 2000s in Volume 3. Terry somebody. Because he looked too ripply. If Cash was still here, he's going to tell me in a minute who the name is. I'm terrible at pronouncing names because of my dyslexia. So I have a speech impediment, so I tend to mess that up. But Terry something, I think. And I wasn't a huge fan, but then eventually fell in love with the look because I was like, man, that's such a distinct look for that era and that surfer. Like the other surfer that was Ron Garney surfer is like stupid beautiful, but at first I was kind of like, not Barry, beautiful. And now I look at him, it's like, oh man, he's so like, he never shows emotion. Like in that run of Surfer doesn't get emotional.
Okay.
But when he does get emotional, it's at a 10. And I love that about Surfer because Surfer has that herald calmness, and then he doesn't really understand why people are horrible to each other when they can just be good to each other. Like I love that complexity in him. Not Terry Dodson. I'll find out now. But yeah, I don't know. Like I don't have a strong dislike for anything in particular. I know that's maybe like a get out of jail free card kind of answer, but
yeah, no, I get it. So as like a master collector, what steps do you take to preserve and protect your collection?
Great one. Okay, so this is what I do. So right now, I have these binders that are top loader binders. That's the best thing I can come up with. And they're clear pages, so you can see the front and back of the cards. I have to see the back of my cards because they're organized by year. And I love the design of the back of the cards just as much as the front. So that's
with the 90s cards.
1010%. Yeah. Especially because most of them have quotes, great bios, like they're just not. Is it Terry Austin? Damn it. I'm a terrible surfer person. I totally blanked on it. I thought it was with a G, but I could be wrong. I have to go look at CAF.
Okay.
Which is an amazing resource if you guys don't know.
Yes.
Then I have the Pelican case here, and I did this. And this is too much. You tell me if I'm wasting too much time.
No, you're good.
I forget how long you like to make the episodes. I think.
No, we can go. Okay,
I don't want to go on too long.
You good.
Then I do this.
Nice.
So what you're seeing there are little cases, and they're little tops, and there's a little checklist on the inside.
Oh man.
And then basically they're organized in there in top loaders and one touches. So then you could like pull something out and
Wow. My OCD senses are tingling.
So I have the most important cards from the master collection at the front, the biggies that I don't want to put in the binder. And then behind that are printing plates.
Nice.
And then on the other side are my sketches, which you're starting to see, which you saw some of them already.
Yeah.
And then the next three are comic cuts because your boy lost his mind.
So
So
we all get there at some point.
So filled with amazing comic cuts.
Oh, that's cool, man. Norrin Radd.
Mm-hmm. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So that's how that looks. And then in the front here, I have like some big hitters.
Wow.
So,
I like those. I saw a Rocket Raccoon one once. That was really, really cool.
Dude, they're so cool.
Yeah.
So stupid cool. But that's where I keep the Just Go thing too in that little area. But yeah, so that's all heavy hitters, master collections and binders. And then I have a Tupperware bin in the closet that has like extras, packs, seal boxes, oversized cards. And that's it. 3 little locations where everything is.
Do you keep a blank slot in your binders for the cards that are in the Pelican case?
So I'll tell you this. I put proxy cards there.
Okay.
And I kept some blank spaces in the binder because I got tired of rearranging the binder over and over again.
Yeah.
So if I go by year, I have an idea of how many foreign cards now that possibly exist.
Yeah.
So I'll give myself an idea of what's there. So here.
I have the same binder.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Great.
These people owe us money, okay? But yeah, see, I even have some sketch cards. Oh, this is a commission I got. This is Lee Weeks.
Oh, okay.
The base card for the Flair Retro. So I got the AP Flair Retro done by him, and he did the base card. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so here's a perfect example of what I do with proxies.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Very nice. Perna's saying he's just throwing another one out.
I love Tradmore. It's not Tradmore, but I love Tradmore.
I need to grab the card real quick for Gibbies.
I love Tradmore.
I know we all love Tops very much. So we've got 3 more of the 616 promo cards. So we're going to be giving those away. Again, it's going to be pound ramble on. We got 10 entries in. We've got 22 people in the live. So let's make sure that we enter that so we can be entered in for the givey. And good luck to anyone do it. I'm going to run that in about a minute. And then Fausto said he's got a second one for us. Oh, and Sonia. Something I love when picking out cards for my collection is learning the storyline for each character, what made them be who they are, and what path they took, hero or villain. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. And I would have to say, Sonia, everyone goes for the hero's journey. I very much like the tribulations that create a villain, because that's a very detailed, layered storyline. So I kind of prefer villains. That's why I like Joker is probably one of my favorite characters in any universe that you can go in, because he's just so layered. And no matter who gets the story, like the comic, the way everyone depicts the storyline for him is just sick. So
it's amazing. It's amazing. So this is the card I'll give away.
Awesome.
And again, this is the promo. So please don't feel like this is a cheap giveaway. This is not. 2 lines on the bottom, and it's glossy. So Mephisto is glossy. It's not matted. These are very stupid hard cards to come by. So please enter. And please like, subscribe. Matt is a lovely person. I've met him in person. I think he's awesome. This channel is going to do really well. Please follow this channel.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So I'm going to share the giveaway. Let me make sure I did this. Fuller taught me this. So let me just make sure I'm doing this correctly. Boom. There we go. All right. So we've got 12 entries. Again, that's pound ramble on. And I'm going to run that in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good luck, everybody. Who is it gonna be? Perna! All right, Perna.
Awesome.
All right, so you're gonna grab these 3 616 promo cards from Topps. This is probably one of my favorite things that they've come out with so far.
It's the best. I'm so pissed that Surfer's not in it, because that would be the card I would buy.
Right.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Man thing.
No, they didn't do Man Thing either. Really?
I feel you, brother. I feel you. So Perna, I have your information, so I will be sending that your way. Awesome. All right, so we're going to continue here. I just have a few more questions, and then we can run your gibby.
No worries.
How may younger collectors approach character collecting in today's market?
I think it's become really popular. I think a lot of people I've met who just came into the hobby became character collectors almost immediately. And I think that's because, usually when you collected Marvel in the 90s, the instinct was to collect by set.
Okay.
I was very much an oddity as a kid, and I've always been like this. I order the same food from the same restaurant all the time just because I get fixated on one thing and it's over. Emily never has to worry. I always get fixated on one thing. Yeah, I'm always like, yeah, that's mine right there. I'm really happy about that. I love that character or whatever the case may be. And what ends up happening is, when you come into the card world today to try to build a set, you have to be very strategic. You got to pick like, what serial number can I do? And it's great. Like, you can do that. And I've seen people do amazing collections that way, like stupid collections that way. But I think for a lot of people, when they come in, they think to themselves like, well, I can't keep up with that. And that's too massive to do. But I've always really liked Spider-Man, or I've always really liked Venom. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, they get kind of expensive, but I really love them from masterpieces. So I'll collect Venom from masterpieces. So every new masterpieces, I get Venom. Like, that's an amazing way to do it. And I think that became second nature for people when they were trying to figure out, well, how do I play without living in a cardboard box? And I think character collecting, which can put you in a cardboard box. I'm very close. This is all fake walls, by the way. This is not real.
This is all an illusion.
An illusion. Little Wayne's World. But yeah, so yeah, I think it became a lot more popular now. When I was doing it with a few other cats, it really was like sketch card specific. But then, people really, they grabbed on real quick to be like, oh man, that's a good idea. Or like, I've kind of been doing this the whole time, but I want to do like the master thing now. It's not new. It didn't start with me or anybody. It's always been around. But I think people were like, well, I'm going to make it like soul focused. And that became, I think that started happening more, later.
Gotcha. I like it. I like it a lot. And you know what's great? A bunch of posts have been going through, even comments on a post that I made in all the groups with, ramblings with Topps Marvel. And a bunch of people have been going on with their own posts about their own opinions, some as anonymous members, some posting who they are. And the comments that are coming out of it on about how people are going to be collecting now or in the near future is amazing. So just make sure you go in there, you read some of everyone's comments. There are so many ways to be able to critique your own collection. I've been reading great comments. I mean, some people are going to start collecting a specific parallel. Some people are going to be specific costumes, or out, if it's a low or high series parallel. So it's really cool. So it's just awesome. Go through there, and you may get, especially if you're coming in, you may join those groups because there's a great community, but also read those comments because a lot of people have some amazing ideas in our community.
I'm really excited, man. Like, that's what I want to see more of. I don't have any hate against Topps or anything like that. There's things I wish they were doing or whatever, but I love what they did for San Diego. They had a full ass booth, man. Respect. That's what you do. Like, and Magic the Gathering, full Spider-Man Daily Bugle set. Come on, man. That's how you show respect to Marvel. Not like passing out a few packs of promos, which is nice, but come on. Like, they killed it. Like, you have to give credit where credit's due at that level. That's amazing. That's like real love for the IP. And I respect that completely. And I think people, sometimes the best thing to do when you see something happening, especially the hobby as it is now, where it's very expensive, it's whatnot breaker universe where like you're just gambling and all this stuff's happening, all blah, 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 blah. Dude, you know what? Nut up and shut up, dude. Like, get creative. Like, you love this stuff. Don't complain about it. Come at it from a new angle that no one's ever thought of and do it better.
Collect what you love and the way you love it, and you will always be happy with what you have.
No regrets. There's no regrets at that point. You're never going to be upset because you didn't just follow the trend. You weren't a sheep. You like bought it because you love it and you had the cash to do it and you recognize that stuff. Take a little time and go. That's the way to do it.
I like that. Yeah. How is mass production of parallels affecting trust in the market? I think our friend Wondering Bull mentioned in our last stream that how many one of ones do we think we're going to have a character in a year?
Oh, I think it's forever. Yeah. I think like one of ones are as normal as a card out of 99. I think what happens is that Topps is assuming they're going to grow the market at here. So there's not just like 7 Silver Surfer collectors in a year. They want 30.
Yep.
So all those one-of-ones that they just keep turning out, now, yeah, there's tons of one-of-ones, but guess what? You're fighting against 30 to 50 people all trying for that one-of-one. Good luck. And that's the moneymaker, right? That's the cycle that happens. I think the trick of this as a collector, to avoid getting caught up in that, which I don't think anything's wrong with it, but I just think that's the way it's going. That's the way it's going. That's the way it's going. And one-of-one is tricky, right? What a one-of-one means, that's a big thing to think about. You know what I mean? Like, what's one-of-one definition for you, right? Because people can say, oh, this is a one-of-one unique card. That doesn't have to be your opinion. That can be their opinion, but it doesn't have
one
to
of a kind.
Right, one of a kind. No. There's true one of a kind uniqueness.
Yeah.
And then there's a number and a color change, which nothing's wrong with that. But don't make that be like, hey, spend the $10,000 on this eBay thing before you never see it again. Yep. Don't get caught up in that, because that's not a hobby. That's not a healthy hobby.
Stay away from the FOMO.
Stay away from the FOMO. So.
Yeah. What kills me is like seeing one-of-ones and using recycled art more than once. So it's like, how many one-of-ones for the same exact art are we getting for characters?
Dude, all of Topps Chrome Silver Surfers were in upper deck sets.
Yeah.
Like all the art, it's just same. It's all the VIP Black. They use that for Indestructible. Like they're all the same. And that's fine. Like, again, nothing's wrong with that.
Yeah.
But you're not going to create a hobby that has good longevity and good history if that's what you're pulling from constantly and it gets recycled, recycled art. Not just using art that's been in comic books, which can be very cool. I've always thought people made a mistake by dissing that so much, being like, oh, what do I care? This was in the comic book. I was like, no. You're misunderstanding, because that might be a representation of a character that you love from an artist that's never been on a card.
Yeah.
That's the game changer.
Yeah.
So like, I always thought that was a mistake to turn your nose up at that. But I will say, reproducing the same art that we've seen on cards, even throughout the same company or even the same sets, I think that makes it harder for people to be, for real people who are collecting this stuff, to be, building a collection.
Yeah, and playing devil's advocate, I get that they just got the license and they don't have a backlog of original art yet, but I'm hopeful that we'll see something. But with the way that we spoke about it a few times, everyone's aware of it. It's just, are you going to be able to build a set, or are you just going to be character collecting? Here's
my old man ramble. So, because I feel like I'm free to do that. Yeah, I don't make excuses for companies that charge over $500 a box. Like, I'm sorry, do your research. You know what I mean? Like, respect the brand. Look at what was done in the past. Pick something different from the Marvel card library, and because you can pick anything you want. You know what I mean? Like, you have free access to that library. I highly doubt there's only 20 Silver Surfer images you're picking from the Marvel library assets that you have a license to. That is not true. And if it is, that's a problem within the system itself, not with a company. So I don't make excuses when prices are that high and people and that's happening. Like, I just don't feel like that is fair for anybody spending their hard-earned money. And that's not a comment to you. That's just a comment to what's happening on eBay. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I just feel bad for people paying $2,000 for something. And I don't understand it either. I'm like, what? I don't get it.
What I don't understand is it's selling for that much.
I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. And then I'm seeing them repop up on eBay sometimes too, which I know you've talked about.
Yeah.
Because, that's wild.
Because you're seeing some people from the sports collector side seeing it on eBay, knowing how Topps has handled release and scarcity or whatever. So they'll purchase it at, let's say, $100. Then maybe a week, not even a week, you'll see it back on eBay for $300. And then it'll sell. And then you're like, that was not. It was like that shouldn't have, I don't know if that should have sold for 300. And then sometimes you see it even more to the extreme where it's higher, and you're like, how are these cards selling? These refractors. And honestly, I've seen some grades coming out now that it's been released, and some of the grades aren't doing too well, and we're noticing QC issues that are kind of weren't really seen at first. Maybe you're not noticing because you're only watching it via the screen and somebody's breaking real quick. But yeah, so that's something to be said, and we'll be seeing as it comes out if there's any issues with QC. We're well aware and used to it coming over from Upper Deck with QC issues. Let's just see if Topps is as responsive, because I did have good responses from Upper Deck's quality control.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
they were lovely. I thought they always did a good job. And things get damaged, and I get it, but man, you can't charge $500, $600, $800 for a box, and to have every card have a dent on an edge. Like that's wild. And then they're numbered, so you can't really replace them because that one's now burned forever. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't.
And JC's got a great point. I believe in competition, drives quality.
I think they pay a certain amount of money for exclusivity. And I think that's where that conversation was. And Pulling Fire mentioned this earlier. Yeah, the original art is definitely coming from Topps. Without a doubt. That's happening. I've heard the same. I've heard similar things. He might know more than me. He's very involved. But like, it's happening for sure. I hope they're paying the artist what the artist deserves, and I hope the selection of artists is really great. So.
A solution that I was thinking of with Topps, and I mean, this would be a huge endeavor on their end, but it's something to think about if they have the Topps license for a long period of time, is if they have something like an e-pack equivalent with physical cards. I'm not talking about Topps Collect or whatever. I'm talking about actual physical cards. If they eventually came out with something like that, the normal collector would be able to buy in at boxes on the retail, and they would be able to do this so delayed to where it wouldn't impact EQL or breakers or certain amount of allocated fund stock to specific retailers. It would I think it would hush a lot of complaints. Now, you would still have the FOMO, I guess, up front, because no matter what it happens, we all knew about e-pack, but we wanted physical. We want it in hand. I want to break the box. I want to rip the plastic. You know what I mean? So I think that would be one of the best things I would ever see from them to come up. Who knows if that would happen? But it would be a hopeful endeavor. So
I agree. I love that. I think you're absolutely right. And I think Fanatics Live is going to work on that in a way. Like I think there's an angle there that's happening, and I agree with you completely.
All right, coming down to the last few questions. This one, again, going back to the youngins. Do you think today's kids are more drawn to digital collectibles than physical, or would they be into physical cards?
It's funny. I look at Marvel Snap, you know what I mean? And I look at, Topps Collect. I think people will get into digital, but I think people have been burned enough by online games, either on their phones or, any of those kind of things. And when the software company goes out of business, all those credits and all that money you had in that game kind of vanish. And people are going to learn the same thing happens with digital content and cards. Yeah. If I really had to think about this in a serious level, let's take Pokemon, for instance. I don't know how much Pokemon you play. I play quite a bit.
I'm familiar. I never really played, but I collected in middle school, man. It just came out when I was there.
So you remember like Blue and Red, right?
Yep.
So they made something called Pokemon Bank. And this is where you could transfer any of your old Pokemon from even the very oldest games and put them in a digital server where they would live forever. So if you caught a shiny and you want to bring it out to the most modernist game and you want to play with your first ever like Pikachu, you could. They've had problems with like making sure those digital IDs stay alive forever in a digital space. That's not a perfected technology yet, not really. So if you're looking at cards, we saw the whole NFT kind of thing go whoop and out real fast. I don't think, especially Marvel cards are embedded in the art. That physicality of holding a piece of artwork in your hand, pocket-sized artwork as they originally sold as like Marvel Masterpiece back in the day, right? Art that fits in your pocket was kind of like the taglines that they did. I'm saying it wrong, but that was similar to what they were doing. There's an emotional connection that happens with that card that I feel is very difficult to have with the digital. I don't think it won't happen where we go to digital, but do I think we go to only digital? No. I think eventually youngins might be really into digital, and then their kids will be like, I'm tired of looking at screens. I like something physical. And then the physical media, you know what I mean? Life's like that, right?
Yeah.
Something happens here for this generation. The next generation is like, nah, I'm okay without it. And then it comes back again. And I think you're just waiting for that circle to come around again. But I do know this. I know having something physical in hand is a very different experience than just experiencing something digitally.
Yeah. Oh, it is amazing feeling to finish like a 9-pager or put the last card in a specific binder, or when you're critiquing something and you put something in it, you just love the way it looks, the layout, and you're like, I'm done. I ain't touching that right now. For right now, you know, I'm good right now. This will quench my thirst right now until I walk by on an angle a specific way and go, now I'm going to rearrange. So it just happens that way.
It's true. It's true.
So what is the biggest challenges facing collectors today? Pricing, authenticity, storage, and accessibilities.
Accessibility first and foremost. I think if you're not a gambler or someone who likes to play that game with money on whatnot and stuff, you're not getting product. And I think you're going to have to physically hunt for cards. And I think what's happening on eBay right now and other sites where things are being shilled and then prices are super inflated, and then 6 months later the prices are half what they were when they were reverse selling, which is all very real. I think people get disenchanted and leave, and they're like, well, I thought this was this month. This is only like 6 months later, and it's a half the price of what I bought it for. I'm not doing this anymore. And then everything gets dumped.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with all of this is that, you know, back in the day before YouTube and all this stuff started happening, people who collected were really tight-knit groups that met once a year at a con. And they would collect on these little islands alone and either would mail each other or call each other up. There wasn't like a content where it was like, hey, I'm into this book. I bought this book at this price. I'm going to grade it this after a clean press, and it's going to be $1 million. And then someone buys it for $1 million. That kind of world didn't exist openly. It existed then, but existed on the kind of fringes of the conversations. That was what it wasn't. That's not what it was about. And that's what it's about now. So I feel like a lot of our conversations and a lot of what you and I have talked about off camera and what I talk about with people is that hobbyist kind of hobby, right? That's not like investment flipping, all that stuff. Like I've done it. I bought things, I've sold them for a good price because I knew what it was, because I've done enough research and been here long enough to know something rare when I see it. And yeah, I've made a little money off of it for sure. But that's not numero uno on my freaking to-do list when I'm in the hobby at all. That's not even close to being number one. That's like, if it happens, then hey, I've had a good month out of like 5 months of not making any money on this stuff. You know what I mean? And nothing's wrong with that world. But what I'm saying is that like so much about collecting is about having these tighter communities and these little pockets of people. And I think I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but you felt it, right? At OAX. That was a crazy feeling. It felt like I grew up with all these guys and that like were on my block when I was a kid. And
that's exactly how it felt.
It was insane. It was like I met friends that I grew up with because we all had the same interests. And I think that gets lost a lot when it becomes about looking for the best price or hunting or feeling isolated. And I think once it comes back to all of us getting next to each other again and putting all that other stuff to the side, which it can exist. It's going to exist. It should exist. Sometimes I know I fund a lot of my hobby from selling hobby. Like I have to do that.
Yep.
I just think it's going to be different. And I think people who want to keep this stuff alive have a personal responsibility to be friendly, be kind, and be open with each other and transparent.
Yeah.
So people understand like, oh, this is what I'm trying to buy into. This is why I'm collecting, not because I want my price to be X by 6 months.
Yep. Yeah, my biggest gripe right now, especially, with the kid situation is, I'm sure you, as well as plenty in the comments, live chat, or people watching, when we were kids, you were able to walk to the comic book store and buy a pack of Marvel cards, physical cards, for like $1, $1.50, $2, depending on what set, maybe $4.50 for the masterpieces. But like, that was it. And you had cards. You were able to sit down with your friends at lunch or after school hangout, trade cards, build a set, binders, talk about, oh, this was my favorite card, this is that. So to me, the accessibility of physical product for kids or young teenagers wanting to come into this hobby, it's not there. And the only availability that they're quite seeing so accessible that we had is digital. So these license holders, yeah, it's awesome to see blasters, but then those blasters were gone and there wasn't an accessibility like there would be of beginnings or annual, to where you still see that stuff on shelves. Not saying it's being sold again, but it's still stock that's out there. So it's very affordable for kids to get into it. So as of right now, I only see accessibility for kids to get into DC sets. And maybe that's what they're going to be into, especially now with the way the DCU is coming out. So that might be what we actually see, a shift with the younger kids from Marvel to DC. And maybe when they get older, they come into the Marvel sets.
It's funny. DC was pretty big when I was a kid too. Like Batman Returns, Batman, like what up? I had like my little Batman figure. I would stretch out his utility belt and I was running around McDonald's playground like a beast. I was out, he was flying. That's a real memory. That's like a hardcore memory. I love DC back in the day. Superman, everybody. I really do honestly believe what captured me as a kid was the art.
Yeah.
I just feel in my bones. It was just that somebody who drew this art knew the character so intimately that when they picked that pose, that spoke to me.
Yeah.
That feels like that's the right little core. And in a digital world, I think you can still have that, but you lose out on the holding. You know what I mean? That like that thing that you have to keep and be safe with, right? You have to put away, you put it in plastic, you have to keep it nice. You get to appreciate it because it's not always in front of you. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I just hope it doesn't go away because it has meant so much to me, Yeah.
Yeah. I loved the Death of Superman. I remember when that came out, Ash. I had the comic. It was in the sleeve, so you couldn't see what the cover looked like. I think it was white with a black Superman logo. I had an open one and I had an unopened one. I hope I still have that somewhere. I did have it at one point in my life.
Iconic.
Great storyline.
That's iconic. Yeah.
So let's run this giveaway. Oh no, I don't want to do that. I gotta go back and re-enter it, but it's gonna pick up everyone's pounds from the whole live stream. Ramble on. Not going to exclude somebody who won previously. All right, everyone, hit pound Ramble on for the Mephisto giveaway that Fausto is kindly letting everyone get to. It is a promo card. Very exciting. This was a lot of fun. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out in the chat. Make sure to hang out. It's every Thursday at 9 p.m.
Like and subscribe, guys.
Oh, thank you.
That's important.
If we hit 300, yeah, and the Instagram too. If we've hit 300 followers by the third episode, We're almost there. I think we're at like 240 something. There will be an amazing giveaway with the we'll do the giveaway wheel this time.
It's worth it, guys. Finding good content by people who actually know what they're talking about is rare. So follow.
It's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And I love talking with everyone.
It's the best.
I've got a lot of plans coming up for future episodes. And I'm trying to make small improvements every episode that we do. So
it looks good to me, man. It was great. I really love doing this, man. This was really nice.
Thank you, everyone. All right, so what do we got? We got 10 entries. We got 21 people. So unless you want your odds to be really, really good, start entering in, everybody.
It's worth it, guys. This is a pretty big card. You can't find these.
Yes.
They don't exist. Trust me, they don't exist.
Yeah, they're cool, guys.
They're nice, man. They're nice. They're the very first set produced by Marvel. Very first set to be produced by Marvel. Very first promos. Very first cards made by Marvel to be given out as promos. It's good stuff.
Nice stuff. All right, let me make sure it's doing this correctly because I want to make sure it pulls everybody in. So we had more people earlier, so there should have been. Ramble on. There we go. All right, 10. View tab. There we go. All right, we're going to run it, guys. Thank you all for hanging out. Boom. Good luck.
Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, I'm excited. Brittany.
Hey!
All right. Congratulations, Brittany.
I think we follow each other on Instagram, my friend. So if you hit me up, I'll take care of you. You just give me your address, okay? And I'll send it over to you immediately.
Very cool. Very cool. That was awesome. Thank you for contributing.
Please. I'm glad I was able to do it. That's the one I had the most copies of. So I'm glad I'm able to spread it out a bit for people.
All right, everyone. Well, I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you again for hanging out in the chat, taking part in questions and everything. And make sure you come hang out on the next Thursday.
Thank you, guys.
Ramble on, everyone.